Let's get fermenting. Take 513.
Hi, this is Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, and I'm Stacy, and today we're going to be fermenting sweet potatoes. I bet a lot of you guys think that you can't ferment sweet potatoes, but they're awesome and you can. They're very similar to fermenting a carrot, and I love the carrots because they kind of have a little crunch to them. So today we're going to be doing that, so let's get fermenting. Okay, so I got a few things to chop up. I'm going to start with, I peeled some sweet potatoes, a couple large ones, 2 or 3, and you're going to slice them kind of thin. So that's how I'm going to do these, just like this. And I'm also going to need an onion, and usually I use green peppers in it, but I didn't have any green peppers, so I'm just going to go ahead and use some sweet peppers in it today. And I took a little nub of ginger that I've already cut up, about an inch or 2, and then some garlic, and then some salt and coriander seed. And coriander basically is just your cilantro seeds, and then some cayenne pepper. So that's what the recipe calls for. So I'll be back in just a minute, and you guys can see how we put it all together and do it. Okay, so what I've done is cut up my sweet potatoes. Sometimes if you want to grate them up more, you can. Today I slice them thin and then just kind of cut them in pieces just for something different. And I said earlier in the intro, I went ahead and I'm doing regular sweet peppers, but green peppers are really good with this one. But this should be fine too. And then I cut up an onion, and then I have my coriander. You don't have to put coriander in it. That's what's so beautiful about these things. If you just want to use salt and that's it, that's great. You don't have to. And then I'm doing cayenne pepper. Another option that you can do if you like a lot of pop is to go ahead and use an actual jalapeno pepper. Jalapenos, once they sit, can get kind of spicy in there. So what I would suggest, if you do put your cayenne pepper, or not your cayenne pepper, your jalapeno pepper in your fermenting jar when you're doing it, just set the whole pepper on top, and then that way it'll kind of soak in there and then get the spiciness to how you want it. And then if you get to the spiciest that you want, take it out. That's why I'm just going to do the cayenne pepper, because sometimes I don't like to do that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my peppers in a bowl. Make sure you're using like a non-reactive bowl, no metal or anything like that. Okay, so I'm just going to put everything in there, and then my coriander seeds. And the coriander, I have tons of cilantro here. I love cilantro, so I grow a lot of it. So I have a lot of seeds, and I don't ever use them all. So it's good. It adds a little flavor into your, little fresh flavor into your things that you make. I'll put everything in there. And then my ginger. And if you don't like ginger, don't put ginger in it. If you don't want to put your onions, don't put them in there. That's the great thing about this. Just do what you like. But a lot of times when you ferment, you might think it's too much salt, it's too much this or too much that. It really intensifies the flavor when you are fermenting. So you put your ginger in there. And when you do the ginger, it's about a, inch or 2 of a nub. Yikes. And then what I'm going to do is, and I don't always put garlic in my ferments. A lot of times I'll do my garlic powder that I make. And Doug will link that above about the garlic. But I'm going to do garlic in this one. So let me show you a little trick. This is a homesteading tip. And I'm not the only one that can do them. Doug does them too. So I want you guys to watch how I do this. All right, I'll do it so you can see it. All right, so you get your garlic, and then you're going to mash it down. And then you guys know how to do that, I'm sure. All right. So it's going to break apart like so. And I'm going to take out my little cloves. And the worst part about doing garlic is because you have to peel the little paper stuff off of the cloves. And I can't stand to do that. It takes too much time. So all you do is put it in a jar like that. And you're going to shake it really hard. Okay? Shake, 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 shake. And then in just a little bit, all of that paper that goes on the outside of the cloves is just going to fall off. See how the little paper came off? So they're totally peeled. All the paper came off of them. Isn't that awesome? I mean, I love that. I use that so much. It's totally cool. Okay, and then I'm just going to dice these up a little bit. I'm only going to put a couple cloves in there. Put that in there too. And then I'm going to put a nice tablespoon of salt in there. Whoops. And I'm just going to kind of blend this all together. And I'm going to massage it. So, just going to massage it. I do it maybe about 5 minutes. You want to get the juices flowing or so. And then, once that's done, I'm going to let it set about 20 minutes. And then when that happens, I should have a little juice in here. And I'm going to pour it in the jar. And I will be back in about 20 minutes and we will see the finished product. Okay? Time. It's been about 20 minutes and it got nice and juicy. It smells absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in about a quart jar. I used 2 large sweet potatoes when I did this one. And then I'm going to use, I had a cabbage that I'm also going to do some fermented cabbage and beets a little bit later, but I'm going to use this for the top. But basically I'm going to go ahead and in my jar put about a tablespoon of salt in the bottom. And then I'm just going to load up the stuff that has been fermenting. And I really like, when I ferment, my favorites are like the harder root vegetables. I love carrots and I love the sweet potatoes and beets. They're so wonderful because they still keep and have a nice texture. The ones that I really don't like to ferment as much are like cucumbers and zucchini or squash because they get too squishy. And that's not my favorite thing to do. So when I do ferment, I like to do things that are a little harder when you ferment them. So, and this is a really yummy one because you kind of get that sweet, salty, tangy little spice. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, I did put a little dash of cayenne in here. I didn't show you before, but I did put a little dash of cayenne. So I'm going to mash this really, 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 really good. Okay, get it in there. A little extra. And usually if you have extra, just make another batch. I might just end up eating this. That's something else if I can't get it in there. Because you want to make sure that you have space at the top. At least 1 inch or so, because you want the liquid to make sure that you're covering it. Pour some of that juice in there. Okay. And then I have my cabbage leaf. I'm just going to stick that over the top of it. And now I'm going to need to put a little bit more liquid in there. So, I'm going to go ahead and just put some water over the top. I didn't get that. Be right back. I went ahead and got some purified water, and then I'm going to use about a teaspoon of this pink Himalayan sea salt. And make sure when you're using your salt that you are using a good salt, a good real salt. Like there's a brand name Real Salt, there's Redmond sea salt, there's Celtic sea salt, there's pink Himalayan sea salt. Those are real salts. So you want to use those. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon in here to make a kind of brine. And then I'm going to pour it over this. Make sure it gets in there really good. And you want to make sure that it is covered at the top. Now in the last video, fermenting video I did a video on ginger carrots. And on those I did a different way of fermenting where I had stuck a smaller mason jar in the top and I covered it with a cheesecloth. it's just another way of doing it. It really, it's your preference. I like to try different ones and see what works good. This one I'm just going to go ahead and put my mason jar lid on top. The one downfall that you have when you're doing the lid like this is you have to burp it. You have to watch it because it's going to create, you know, the effervescence and the bubbliness. And you're going to definitely need to put it in a bowl because it might kind of ooze out of the top. So you're going to stick it in your bowl. Stick it someplace, and you don't want to be where it's really, really hot. You know, kind of in a cool area, cool, dark area. And then every day just kind of watch it, and you'll see the bubbles coming up. And then after a day or so, you might need to just turn it very gently to let some of the air come out of it, the bubbles. But you don't want oxygen to actually get to it. You want it to start fermenting in there, and it will create this wonderful, sweet, salty, tangy creation that is fabulous. You can use it for your tacos, or you can have it with a scoopful with breakfast, with your eggs. Just eat it by itself. It's wonderful. So if I can encourage you guys to start fermenting, it is so, so beneficial for your gut bacteria, to help your immune system, and sweet potatoes are just a fabulous way to add to your fermenting. So I just hope you guys try it and see if you like it and let me know. And again, this is Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, and I'm Stacy, and get that fermenting going. See you later.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Triple file, sunshine day, let's go. Spinning.